The disc is put in the hands of Nelson, who sends it deep into space. We've got the Amicus giving chase and Mike. A big jack downfield. Settling underneath it is air traffic controller Anson Reprimand, who pulls it out of the sky, sends it back to Mike Pannoni. Pannoni gives it back to Anson. Anson scores the goal. Oh, and a big layout block by Hidaka. That's his second. Looking behind him. Sends one out into space to Steve McGilsky. A nice little leading pass. McGilsky sends one, a big bender, out to Tranquillo, who pulls it down for Pannoni. Does not let him get the huck off. Adrian King catches it and runs. Percy Stogden puts one up to Alex Nelson, and Scout the Shepherd, who always likes the gun, and that's just what he does. It's a bender to Hammonds, and easy as you please. Nelson's got the disc, sends it around, and Mighty Joe Young has it in the middle of the field. Being marked and forced to the sideline, and now King's got it. Dylan marking him, and now Steve McGilsky. Simpson sends up a backhand huck. There is a whistle, and travel, I think, has been called deep in the end zone. Waits for it to come down. He sees Aaron Watson streaking down the field. He milks it as far as he can to the goal line, and then he shuffles it in, and it's called up by referee Kramer. He finds Max Shepard. Shepard looking up the line. Slevin doing some shredding cuts, but instead, it's a Summer League hammer across the field. Susan, however, Stogden gets up, throws it into the end zone, and he finds A.J. Nelson all alone. And what looked like it might be the disc, he's got Scott Trucks Trimble working in front of him, but he sends up a forehand huck. This one bends back in bounds. Underneath it is Max Shepard, who makes a move on the disc and skies two smaller players and then sends a scuba across the field to the human backwards hat, David Vatz. Detroit, by the way. Whoa, we've got a huck. It's a big one. Looks like this one comes from Van Duzen, and it's a Max Shepard from Edinburgh on the way in, and Shepard pulls out that big forehand huck. David Vatz jockeying for position with who? And my goodness, who is angry? And a scooper into space goes over Young's head, and just so he can get his first AUDL block, Van Duzen just snacks at it and finishes up in the end zone with a little championships. Came away with the win. Oh, and we have a drop pull. A drop pull by Yitting, who every handler has done it. And he puts it down on the carpet. Chicago looks like they're reeling a little bit. And that is going to be Thunderbird's disc in the middle of the field on the goal line. Tad Whistle walks it back. Puts it into play, and he throws his sky hook. Who then sets on a backhand mark. Who sends it over to the forehand sideline with a break to Mighty Joe Young. And a big bid by D'Amicis. And then a big huck, but this one is floating. A.J. Nelson is underneath it. You got to like his odds, but Rob Dulabon underneath him. And it is pulled in, towed in by A.J. Nelson, who's got Joe Young, and he sends him a little flip of a throw, and Chicago holds for a goal. And he just flips a high release to Mighty Joe Young. Joe Young sends a backhand huck deep, and Simpson, used to seeing him deep. However, here's that bird call from Slevin, who snaps off a forehand into space to Max Shepard, who gets open in front of Sheehan for the goal. Back in the handler. And a big shot from King. He throws a backhand, plants that foot. He's got team in deep. McGilsky closing. And Repperman, the air trap. These guys stay on for a while. And deep. It's D'Amicis. Pannoni sees him, and Pannoni snaps off a picture-perfect backhand huck. It didn't wobble. It didn't waggle. And on this sideline, longtime Pittsburgh player from a Pittsburgh family of ultimate players. Oh, and you just saw, so rough. So rough. We had a drop there. Oh, and a big bid by Champ. Big sends it back to Hammonds, who's in the middle, and he whips off a forehand, and it is blocked to Miller, who is being marked by Diesel. Pannoni on King, and now a race to the cone, race to the pylon. Diesel's got it, but Miller catches it over Diesel's valiant bid. That was some real patient off. He didn't get it on that one cut. Doesn't mean he's not going to get it on the clearing cut. Now he has it on the doorstep, looking, and he pops a hammer over the defense to who else? It's Max Shepard. He finds Kunza, and Tyler sends one out, and can Shepard track this down, and will it matter? He did. Back from who? He's still looking, And he throws a hammer up into space. This can be contested, but getting way up above the crowd is Simpson. He's got 17 seconds to make something happen. He throws one into space, and Nelson pulls it down. And with 13, and they go straight up the line. And Dulabon with a big bid. But it's pulled down by King. And there's contact on the reception, so this disc is going to be put into play on the goal line in the middle of the field by Adrian King. You see Chicago spread out across the face of the goal line. Lots of handler motion as Young and Howe go back and forth. And two guys trading off their men. And it's a high floating disc. Beardsley underneath it along with Stogden and Kunza. And the whistle puts the disc into play. Champ catches a centering pass, sends it out around Watson into space for Shea. Shea surveying the field, and he finds Phelps, who finds Alan Gwillen with a little cutting Kyle Hartley. Hartley sees Dulabon, and he sends a cross-field inside-out floating into space. It could not have been pretty. Right now, Tyler Kunza snaps off a big forehand. Running underneath it is Shepard, who pulls another one down. He's got the human backwards hat in the end zone. It's David Vatz, who puts a wiggle-waggle cut on Alan Gwillen and manages to steal the disc from just beyond. Characteristic mistake. And Joe Young sends one up into the air, and it's going to be a battle between Simpson and Pannoni that Christian Simpson wins in the end zone to poach David Vatz. And Vatz went to the end zone, and now we've got a forehand from Slevin to Shepard that falls perfectly into his hands in front of Mike Scheel to give the Thunderbirds back that 4-point cushion with 4:21 left in the game. The hands of Miller. Miller sends up a big forehand. Underneath it, trucks Trimble and A.J. Nelson, and you're not going to take too many away from A.J. Nelson. Trimble had great defensive position. Nelson timed his jump perfectly, got up over it, and a final throw from Simpson side out that Hammonds goes up to catch, and then launches a backhand. Max Shepard there with Phelps, and Shepard gets way up. Position, whistle stops and flicks with his man Zuzan, cutting horizontally across the field, and he whips off a beautiful forehand against the force to Diesel in the end zone. Daka catches one, fakes a big backhand, but instead finds Shea. We've got a foot race downfield, but Scheel breaks it back in, right in front of Hardy, and then throws a backhand in the middle to Champ. Champ throws the high release, which Shea tracks down, pulls out of the air. King sends come behind him. First touch for King on this, and he finds Scheel. Scheel fearlessly sends this one very quickly to Champ. And fire something's going to happen quickly. Aaron Watson pulls one in with 7 seconds left, and he flips one out into space. Max Shepard is back there. And David Vatz, as always, catches it on the backhand sideline, and he sends a backhand out to Vatz, who's being covered by Hidaka. And Vatz just... he takes a turn to go deep, but the play will not wait for him. And very briefly, Danny Miller had to take across, and he's got Mike Pannoni deep. Throws up a blade, and Pannoni catches up to it before Simpson can get there, and it's in for a goal. Nope, maybe not, but Diamikis gets it. This one sends Champ deep into his end zone, and good defense right off the bat causes a turnover, because that was not the first choice on the throws, and instead Trimble picks it up. It's a drop throw on the goal line, and a leaping catch shuffled into the middle by Scheel. First throws an inside out that really doesn't inside out. Hammond's looking. This time, Shepard starts his cut, but he pulls it back. Then he has to go because it's sent by Hammonds deep to the corner, the front out to Sikora, and now it's a foot race deep. A disc is sent, and it is going to be beyond the reach of Tyler Kunza. Charlie First, not looking like a guy who's in a lost game. Charlie First lays it all out. He was all alone back there. Referee Heim, it was worthy of a... There is a delay of game. Who catches up with it in front of Howe? Wow. There's contact on a throw from Whistle up the line. At this point, Nelson with the disc in his hands, and he throws a big backhand huck out into space. Underneath it, wow! Disc put down in front of mast. Surveys the field, sees Dulabon coming in, and of it, Simpson shuffles it back to House, sends it out into space to Zeman. He's got a throw, which the Thunderbirds send back. Oh! Fire D produces a mistake. A high pass to Aaron Watson, picked up immediately by Scheel. And he sends it to field. He's got Hammonds, and he snaps off the inside out to him on the doorstep, looking, and sends it to Shep, who seems to have been open in the end zone all evening long. And so an inside out is snapped to Pat Hammonds, and Alex Strelica-Wagner probably factoring in some of that dark matter, manages to exert a gravitational pull on the disc with his fingertips, knocks it out of the air. And a big shot into space. Fine. Stall count gets up, and it's fired across the field to no one. This one rolls to near the pile. Quickly knocked down, picked up by Simpson.